So listen, by now you've probably heard of prop firms and you know how useful they could be in terms of turning a small account into a very large account. In today's video, you'll learn all about what it takes to get funded. We'll go through some of my challenge accounts so you could see exactly what my mindset was and what it takes to be funded. You ready? Let's go. All right, welcome back to the video, guys. So as we said before, prop firms are a useful tool to Forex traders in our community. And just in case you don't know what they are, these are firms that allow traders the opportunity, if they can prove themselves, to trade large capital and cash out from large capital. So let's go through one of my recent challenges where I used the funded trader and let's break down how I did it. All right, guys, so we are on the funded trader. I am at my account dashboard over here. And this was phase one of the challenge. As you can see here, 100K Royal Challenge, phase one. And as you can see, the status right over here, account status is passed. Now let's get into the nitty gritty here. So the goal of phase one is that I had to make 8% of the account, meaning for a 100K account, I had to get the account equity to 108K. And that is exactly what I did. The current equity for that account is $108,042.48. Now let's go down to the details. Let's go down to the curve. This little curve over here kind of gives you a visual representation of how my trades affected my account. Okay, so we start off with the $100,000 balance. And then we could see that a couple of trades, my first couple of trades were just a little bit in profit by a couple $100. But then I had a couple of losses, as you can see, that really brought my account balance down to about 97,870, which was the lowest that it went down to for phase one. So from this point on, I had to get myself out of that negative balance, get back into that 100K range, and then focus again on getting 8% of the account. Now, this is what I've realized. Before we go any further, what I've realized is a lot of times traders take these challenges and the minute they go into drawdown, they end up just forgetting all about their plans, forgetting all about how they trade, just completely ignoring it and going for home runs. And you have to understand that the market just doesn't work like that. You're not going to get home runs every day. And if you do understand that, it'll make your road a little easier. But if you don't understand that, and let's just say you do hit that home run on one trade and you make $3,000 and you think you're going to hit that home run on the very next trade or the next couple of trades, you'll eventually put yourself in a situation where you blow your account. Because based on my experience, the market doesn't work that way. Sure, we're gonna have big days in the market. That's gonna happen. Sometimes you'll even have a back-to-back big day. That can happen as well. But big days are not the standard in the market. Usually there is a healthy medium where you could say just about every day, yeah, the market will probably give this out every single day and I'm able to catch it about every day. Or you could be the type of trader that only trades when you see your setup. Meaning there are gonna be certain days that I don't trade because I don't like what the market is presenting. That is completely fine as well. But the point is you need to identify that as you go into drawdown in these challenges, so you have a 100K challenge and you go into drawdown below 100K, you start to psychologically get affected and how you trade ultimately starts to get affected. So when you're trading these challenges, not only do you have to bring your trading plan into play, you also have to create a trading plan for the challenge. Because it's not just completely fair game all throughout. When you start hitting $1,000 in the negative, $2,000, $3,000 in the negative, you're going to be affected. Your psyche is affected because you're so focused on that 0 point, which is that 100K. And as a result, you want to take bigger lot sizes. You want to take them on every single trade, even though the setups are not A+ setups. It's just wrong and it's going to affect you. My advice to you is create a specific plan. It doesn't have to be a completely different plan from how you trade, but it's more specific towards the challenge and how you deal with things, especially as you go into a little bit of drawdown. Maybe you want to reduce the lot size a little bit, or maybe you want to go for shorter moves. Either way, you need to keep that in mind because your psyche is going to be affected. And if you leave it up to the moment to decide what you'll do, you'll more than likely choose the wrong thing. So now let's continue. As we continue off, we see that, so eventually you could see that I got the account to about $2,600 in profit, and I was hovering around that area for a couple of days until I dropped off a bit and lost that and ended up having just $200 profit in the account. Again, there was no kinds of panic here because ultimately I was still in profit. So I knew once I found the right trade, I'd be able to capitalize on it because I'm not necessarily in drawdown. I'm not so worried about that. And maybe if it's the right setup, I could put a little extra behind that. And that is what I did. And you can see from here, from that $200 range, eventually got back to that $3,600 range. And from there went off into the target of $8,000 profit. All right, so if we look at the curve, it's actually not a bad curve. Resembles an uptrend, and it shows me that ultimately I was profitable throughout the challenge. Now, believe it or not, you'll probably be surprised at the win rate. My win rate was not 80%, 70%, 60%. It was actually, for phase one of the challenge, 38.46%. Now, you may think to yourself, man, that is low. Then the other thought should be, well, how did you end up passing this challenge? Well, win rate isn't everything. And this should prove to you that you can actually be very, very profitable with a pretty low win rate. All it takes for this to be true is for your wins to completely outweigh your losses. Trust me, I know there are some traders, especially scalpers or people who risk very, very high, who like to have a very high win rate because of the nature of how you're trading. But because I'm not risking a crazy amount when I'm trading, I'm able to deflect those losses. And when I do see those A+ setups, I put a little extra behind that. And hence, I get very, very big wins versus pretty small losses. So as we continue to scroll down to see the details here, we can see that my average R to R on phase one of the challenge was 3.28, which is a pretty good R to R. 3.28 is not bad at all. And we're gonna take a glance at some of the trades that I took. I believe I started this challenge around March. So let's take a look here. All right, we're gonna start from the beginning of March all the way to about the current date. So let's search for that. And okay, now we have all the trades. So let's go all the way to the beginning here. So we can see that I took my first trade on the 7th of March. Started off with a loss and then had a big win, $3,348. We're gonna skip over this. Then I had a small loss of $512, another win of $1,030. Then we had a couple of losses, $580, $132, $322, but then another significant win, $2,000. And then we had negative 66, so going on to the next page. Then we had a $1,000 loss, an $800 gain, almost a $2,000 loss, $172 loss. Then I had a $2,198 win, small loss of $500, another $2,000 win, $384 win, and another $4,000 win. All right, so if there's anything you should get from this, you should be able to spot how much bigger my wins are versus my losses. And trust me, I had a loss or two that was pretty significant, but overall my wins are so much greater than my losses on average. All right, and that's how you want to trade, and that's how you get through the challenge. Now, going through phase two of the challenge, your mindset is a little different. All right, so let's go to phase two of this challenge over here. All right, we're on phase two of the challenge over here. Notice again, it says phase 2 100K Royal Challenge, phase 2. All right, account status is passed again. And as we scroll down here, so in phase 2 now, you have to get to an equity of $5,000 profit, or in other words, 5% of the account, all right? So you can see that the equity I got to is $5,055.70. And let's look at this curve, a little bit more funkier than the phase 1. And usually phase 2s, although the profit target is less, it's a little harder than phase 1. It's all connected to the psychology, the thought that you're almost there, the thought that once you get this, you think about what you're gonna do with the funded account, how you're gonna spend the money, all of these things. Being so close is gonna affect your psychology, and believe it or not, is going to affect your trading, even though the goal you're going for is much less than the original goal in phase 1. So we started off, immediately went into drawdown and got to significant drawdown over here, got to $95,803. Very, very close, around that halfway point where the account could be taken away, but was able again to bounce back from that. So from that point, was able to get myself back to 99,000, and from 99,000 got back into the $100,000 range. Okay, now even after that, there was a little bit of struggle, but I made sure I did not go that far deep into drawdown again. I went as far as 98,000, and then it was uphill from there back into the 101,000 range until I finally hit that profit target of 105,000. Right now, the win rate for this phase was higher than the win rate for phase 2. So let's look at the trades now to see how that was different. And actually, before we get into the trades, look at the average R to R. The average R to R was not as good as phase 1. So this tells me on phase 2 of the challenge, I was more focused on getting smaller moves just to make sure I continue to stay in profit, which makes sense on why the win rate was much higher. You have a higher win rate, usually your R to R is going to be less, and you have a lower win rate, your R to R should be higher if you are a profitable trader. So let's see the history of the trades over here. All right, let's go to the last page. So started phase 2 on the 21st of March, right? Started with a couple of losses, and then we got $8,000 win, and then loss after loss after loss until we got a nice couple of wins, $3,300 win, $1,695, and then followed by another couple of losses. So far we have some losses, some wins, etc. Let's go to the next page. Next page, we had quite a couple of losses here until we got to a little winning streak over here. 2,810, 984, 531, 333, and then a couple more losses. And let's see how we ended up in this challenge. In this challenge, went on a winning streak: 1,131, 2,268, 591, 312, 1,230. Small loss over here, 1,497. Two more small losses, and then a huge win to end off the challenge. And that is what got me to pass phase 2 of the challenge, and hence what gave me the 100K funded challenge. Okay, so I've done many of these challenges. I've passed many of these challenges, and there's a commonality to passing the challenges here. The mindset usually changes from phase to phase, even into the funded account. So even after you pass phase 2, your mindset is different when you have the funded account, because your mind is different now. It's like your mind shifting from a demo account to real money. Now you're a bit more careful, maybe a little apprehensive in the trades that you're taking, or maybe you just try to go for it all and try to go for that home run. And a lot of traders, believe it or not, they get to the funded stage and they blow it all in a couple days, a couple weeks, or even in the first month. So to prevent this, you have to make sure that you're staying level-headed at each phase of the challenge. Before you enter any phase of the challenge, or even the phase of being a funded trader, make sure you revisit your trading notes, your trading plan, and make sure it's tailor-made for what you will encounter in that challenge. Your mindset is going to shift from phase to phase, and you need to be prepared for that so that you set yourself up in the most successful path possible. All right, so it is very much possible, guys, to pass these challenges. Yes, they do pay out, and I'll definitely post payouts as well in the future, but you want to make sure that you stay focused so that you could get through these challenges, and even after getting through them, remain level-headed so that you can continue to rake in those profits and make your personal account much, much bigger than it was before. All right, guys, so I hope you gain value in this video. All of you can do it. These challenges are out here to help you, and if you use it right, if you're a profitable trader and you're trading the right way, you can completely transform your life with this opportunity. So again, I hope you gain value in this video. Please like, share, and subscribe, and until next time, Jordan the Maestro, take care.